This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by the Parker Group.
It is that time again where we know the real estate market, it is forever changing, and we forever have questions. So we have someone who is really just amazing at answering those questions, educating you. We have Casey Neves, an agent with the Parker Group. Casey, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yes. So first, just introduce yourself a little bit, because you kind of have a fun background some people might relate to. Just kind of tell us about who you are, where you came from, how you got into real estate.
Yes. So I've been with the Parker Group since March, and I made that transition from being in education, being a teacher for about 10 years, a little over 10 years. And that transition, I was a little bit scared.
Sure.
And thinking, how am I going to be able to manage clients when I was managing 5-year-olds?
Children, yeah.
But actually the similarities are right there. It takes a lot of those same foundational skills and being able to work with people from all ages.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? If you have 5-year-olds who don't know addition, but you have adults who don't know real estate, they just both don't know something.
Right, exactly.
You know, so it's just breaking it down. So how has that helped you, your education background in educating clients?
I think it's really simple, boils down to being able to explain a process to them. Whether you're in the elementary, the ABCs, you're buying your first house, you're selling your first home, you really are going to need someone to sit down with you, talk about the process, and have those open lines of communication, because no question is silly in the classroom. Well, they can be a little silly, but usually it's not silly in the classroom, and it's not silly when you're selling hundreds of thousands of dollars and buying that. So I really want to keep those lines of communication open for the clients and be like, hey, this is the process, but if you have questions along the way, and also prompt you to ask those questions for your loan officer, or when we're going into getting title work done, making sure that you are asking those correct questions for everyone's benefit, but mostly for yours as the buyer and the seller.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because I feel like, and especially as we grow up, we tend to grow out of the openness of asking questions.
Yes.
And I think we get so embarrassed when we don't know something, and we're like, I should know this, and I don't know what questions to ask, and so we kind of just clam up, and we're like, let's roll with it. But I think that's something that you and really everybody at the Parker Group does a very good job with, is holding hands of clients and walking you through the process. Because like you said, I mean, it's thousands and thousands up to millions of dollars that are on the line here.
Yeah, and you could be an experienced investor, and this is your 30th transaction, but every transaction is completely different, and it's hard to compare one to the other. So there's always going to be questions, whether in your senior year of transitioning and buying houses and flipping them, you're still going to come across things that we're there as a Parker Group to help you answering those questions and helping you along the way.
Nice, yeah. And the market's always changing, so it makes sense too that if you bought a house even 5-10 years ago, it could be different right now. How do you keep up with all of the changes in real estate?
Always learning.
Yeah.
Keeping ourselves informed. At the Parker Group, we always have daily trainings, so we are well informed as agents of what's going on here locally, but also across the nation, because we are getting buyers and sellers coming from all over. They bought their land or their home, and that's a vacation spot for them. Now they live in California. They don't know what's happening, but we need to be on trend with a little bit what's happening in California, so we can inform them and compare what's happening all across the country.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Right.
Yeah. Moving to a new place or coming from somewhere else, you need to be updated not just in Delaware, but everywhere.
Right, yeah. Or if this is your vacation home and you're living somewhere else and you don't know what's changed in Delaware because you've been living somewhere else for half the year, it does get a little muddy and confusing. And I know that there were those big settlement changes in the real estate industry too, so that's been a big change. So there's a lot that is different if you've been working in real estate for some time.
Yes.
And you guys have you're up to date on everything.
Yeah, definitely. Even I just met you, I feel like talking to you. I know. You're so calm and I feel like I feel safe.
Like, yes, Casey will guide us.
Yeah, that's why listing appointments are not usually 30 minutes. They're like an hour or 2 hours, because we just end up talking. And I think that it really builds not only the relationship, but the trust there, because you're trusting us with a big decision in your life, one of those bigger decisions that you're going to make. So we want you to be comfortable. We want you to be open and honest, and feel free to use us again, but then also make sure that this is an enjoyable process for you.
That's great. Well, make sure you call Casey, because if you trust her with your kids, you can trust her with your house, right? I mean, come on. How can they get in touch with you, Casey? What's the best way?
So you can always give me a call. My number is 757, yes, it's a Virginia number. It's 757-345-9760. I can be reached at the Parker Group at Casey.Neves@theparkergroup.com. And you can always call the office and ask for Casey.
There you go.
Great. All right, well, Casey, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Happy to have you. All right, guys, coming up, we have more Coast Life, so hang tight. We'll be right back.